In a real military submarine, the captain is the law with no room for debate. In Wolfpack, the commanding officer is the focal point for all the game activities. The crew grant you power so you can provide structure and order. Structure and order minimize confusion and frustration. With power comes responsibility. You set the tone. Your good attitude and intelligent approach to the mission make for a fun and enjoyable game experience. A competent captain creates content for the crew. To create content, you need to delegate tasks so that every player contributes to the boat's success. Delegation requires trust. Trusting random players to know what they are doing, let alone trusting them to do it, is difficult, especially if you have a low tolerance for public failure. Leave the fear of public failure in the pen. The best crews cooperate and trust each other. Build trust. Do not berate, ridicule, or flog a player who does not yet know his duty. This is a game. Unless you have a boat with a regular crew, which is rare, you will encounter players whose knowledge and ability vary widely. While ad hoc crews require patience and coaching, you should expect an honest effort from each member. Even though Wolfpack is a game, this is the Navy. Expect excellence and the proper military bearing. Do not tolerate disruption from gamer bros and bullies. Kick disruptors. Ban and report trolls. Delegate training. The crewmen you assign to conduct the training will know you trust them, and the trainee will learn that trust can be earned. Issue clear orders. Make sure the crew acknowledge orders by repeating them back in a military way. When the order is achieved, the crewmen should announce it. Failure to repeat back orders generates an air of uncertainty and incompetence. It also leads to errors, bad results, and delay. Push players out of their comfort zones. For instance, station the helmsman on the bridge. Order him to identify ships. Assign the radio man to the TDC. If the sea is flat, consider attacking with angle tracking off. Promote the navigator to first watch officer. Put them on the AP and delegate the approach to them. Have them pick the targets. Give them the attack. Have other crew members get speed estimates compared to your own. Measure and remeasure. Order everyone with optics to do it. If the convoy is set to zig, that zig could happen at any time. It might just be a speed change or a minor course adjustment. Your people need to be paying attention to that. It's your responsibility, but it's on them to identify changes and promptly report them. The OP, while it is usable, must always be manned. The dive officer or navigator, if he or she is not on the AP or elsewhere, should be using it to monitor escort distances and turns, as well as other U-boats. The OP must issue timely proximity and evasion warnings. Further, the OP needs to monitor and identify target aspect changes. He or she needs to hunt masts to gain and maintain alignment for AOB calculations and zigs. The crewman on the OP is a critical defensive player who will prevent you from failing when you are distracted or otherwise occupied. Don't neglect the OP. Man it with someone competent. Stream your game if you can. This allows you to share combat visuals with your crew and makes the game more interesting for them. Otherwise, they are playing only for the noise. If you are streaming, do not second-guess your radio operator by checking the radio log. Trust the radio operator to convey the messages, even if it generates failures. His or her failure to communicate something important will be a teaching moment. Make common sense procedures routine. For example, do not surface without ordering a hydrophone sweep followed by a periscope sweep. Reconfirm AOB, speed, and torpedo depth before launching torpedoes. Make sure the TDC is safe whenever it is not in use and between torpedo runtime calculations. In an ideal world, you don't need to touch any controls or do anything except issue orders. Try to limit controls you manipulate personally. Push yourself out of your own comfort zone. Provide the crew the opportunity to rise to the occasion. New captains feel like they need to take every attack, make every measurement, keep control of every detail. Crews under those captains rightly feel underutilized. Don't be that guy who does all the things. Push yourself to delegate as much as you can, as often as you can. Develop your own tactics. Real-life tactics work surprisingly well, but the game supports many options, including improbable ones. Experiment. Do not initiate an attack unless you have a viable escape plan that does not include attacking an escort. Dernet spent his days as a World War I POW developing U-boat tactics. He imagined that the boats would attack at night on the surface and then, if necessary, dive to escape counterattack. Between the wars, the UK developed ASDIC. The Germans realized, and put in writing as early as 1929, that U-boats will counter ASDIC by attacking on the surface at night, ratifying Dönitz' thoughts from the previous decade. WP is set in 1939 to 1941, before the deployment of radar to escorts. The game renders this happy reality remarkably well. Jaegers hunt at night. Keep that in mind when you create games. Fighter pilots have reduced air combat to an axiom: altitude is energy, energy is speed, speed is life. Look up. U-boat combat in WP can be reduced to concealment plus speed plus maneuverability equals initiative. Preserve your initiative. Since darkness provides constant concealment to a point, initiative comes down to speed plus maneuverability. No combat happens without maneuver. When you dive, you give away speed and maneuverability. Don't dive just because you can. Dive only if the circumstances absolutely require it. In other words, don't dive unless you gain in return something of equal or greater value to the initiative you've lost. If you are spotted, the escorts will alert and become dangerous. Treat them as a serious threat. Act quickly to evade. Maybe you can kill one with a stern shot. Even if you kill one, you won't get the other one or two, and your counterattack will extend the alert. If you are in real danger, dive to safety or kill one and then dive. The sooner they drop their depth charges in your wake, the sooner the alert ends. While you are dived, you can contemplate the embarrassing string of personal failures by which you squandered your initiative. A note on evasion. If you determine you must dive past radio depth, which is 12 meters, to avoid detection or escape attack, have the radio operator send the Wolfpack a message that your radio station is closed. He or she should use the appropriate syntax, i.e. DDD or BRD for below radio depth, or whatever message is in vogue. When the radio station is closed, the radio operator becomes the hydrophone operator. Have him or her help you construct a mental picture of the surface battlefield so you can take appropriate evasive steps. If you have unlimited depth, use what you need. Even at elevated underwater speeds and a long evasion, you will travel a remarkably short distance from where you dived. Use your speed to get depth. After your hydrophone reports splashes, make a short, maybe 10-degree turn and get horizontal distance as you dive. Once you reach a safe depth, cut your speed and wait it out. If you are playing in shallow water, you may not be able to evade except by moving away from the convoy for a long time. Bear that in mind when you choose the mission location. In conclusion, enjoy the game with the other members of your crew and be positive, unselfish, and supportive. Develop trust. Lead. This concludes the Commanding Officer Training Film. Use the link below to take the qualification exam and earn your CO qualification certificate. Thank you for playing Wolfpack. Good hunting, and don't forget to close the hatch.